Şubat Kahramanmaraş depremlerinin ardından ülkemize gelen arama kurtarma ekiplerini. Sözcüsü Paul-Philipp Braun, Güney Kore SNRT İcra Kurulu Başkanı Jin Man, hoş geldiniz. Azerbaycan Acil Durumlar Bakanlığı Ana Operasyon Departmanı Başkan Yardımcısı Alesker Aliyev, Özer Polonya Bölüm Başkan Yardımcısı Grzegorz Borowiec ve Özer İspanya ve Bomberos Grekan İletişim Direktörü Juan, Manuel, Gómez, Rama.
As I was saying earlier, one of the most touching things about tragedy is ironically the beauty in the best of humanity. And this panel really displays that. So as introduced, I'll hand it over to our panel now and this discussion on heroes without borders, these wonderful rescue workers after the February 6th quakes.
Evet, Sınır Tanımayan Kahramanlar oturumu için sözü moderatörümüz Sayın Özer'e devrediyoruz. Sayın Özer, buyurun.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen and esteemed panelists, distinguished guests, I'm honored to welcome you to the Heroes Without Borders panel. Well, today we will share our search and rescue role players and actors of their effective time that they spend in the field. Well, as we all know, natural and man-made disasters can strike anytime, anywhere, and with devastating consequences. In this moment of crisis, search and rescue teams play a vital role in locating and rescuing those people who are trapped or injured or missing. Their bravery and dedication have been a beacon of hope for countless people in their darkest hours. As we have seen in the wake of almost all events, disasters can have far-reaching impacts that they require immediate action. Search and rescue teams not only save lives, but they provide much-needed support for affected communities, for restoring hopes, instilling confidence, and helping to rebuild devastated areas. Now, today's panel presents a unique opportunity to hear from some of the most experienced and passionate search and rescue professionals as we delve into the emotional and physical demands of this critical work. Now, I would like to start with introducing our panelists, but before doing so, because of their effort in the field, in search and rescue, I would like to invite you to give them a big applause, please. Okay, let me start with field. Let me just give you a quick introduction, and then I'll just leave the floor to our panelists. I'll start with field. Field works as a freelance photographer, as well as a moderator and lecturer for media topics and law. He's been on some international missions, including Haiti earthquake in 2021, and the most recent one in Kahramanmaraş in 2023. He graduated from the University of Erfurt in religious studies and political science. He added a master's degree in general studies of religion in the same university. Now, Phil, can you please tell us how you first about the Kahramanmaraş earthquake and how you reacted? And also, can you please tell us about the communication that's been always a fact in the disaster areas, as we all know? So can you tell us more about the communication channel with locals and partners? Also, some of us may know and some may not, but I'm just going to raise that point. We've seen in the channels about Zeynep's story. So I think we know your face on the TV channels about you and Zeynep, and you're talking, especially in Turkish, to Zeynep. If you can tell us just a little bit more about, I know it's a sad story, that would be great for us. So, Sanyu, please.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim, for this short introduction, and thank you for your hospitality. Thank you for having us as rescuers here today, and give us the opportunity to talk about all the things we faced with in during this 1 week and during these weeks after the earthquake till today. To be honest, when I got the alert of the Kahramanlar earthquake, it was 4:45 in the morning in Germany, and I got a phone alert. And to be honest, I'm also part of a local firefighter station, so I expected kind of a little car crash, something like that, when I looked at my phone, and then I saw, okay, this is a preliminary alert for an earthquake in Turkey. And I immediately checked the media, I Googled it, and I think this time it was 3 hours after the quake, and the official numbers of people who got injured and who got to death were at this moment over dozens. And whoever is familiar with the earthquake situations know that normally you have 5 to 10 people within the first 5 hours. But when I realized there were so many people who are affected by this quake, I immediately started to pack my stuff, and got a call from our headquarters in Duisburg, and they decided, okay, we have to go to Turkey tonight. So we left on the 6th of February in Germany. It was a little complicated because we chartered an airplane, but there was not enough space for all the equipment we had with us. So the female captain, and she is one of many, many brave females I met during this earthquake period. She decided, okay, take your stuff, also your equipment, into the cabin. And so we can go very fast to the affected area, and that's what we did. And then we arrived in Turkey. Our Turkish partner organization, İsa Turkey, prepared everything for us. They did a very good job. And so we have been located to Kirkan, according to the local authorities. They said, please go there. We've been the first team in the province of Hatay, one of the most affected provinces here in Turkey. And the people who were there, who were waiting for us, they were really, really happy to see us. Some local teams have been there. Afet was coordinating there, of course. But we, as an international team, and I think you see the pictures in the background already, we came there to support the people. And there was a huge, you also asked about the media information and the media impact it had. There was a huge impact this earthquake had also to Germany, to all over Europe. Mm-hmm. And for us as as the first German team, I got so many, I'm also the communication officer of our team, and I got so many calls. Also on my drive from my hometown Erfurt to the airport in Cologne, I was driving and I just got call. So I'm happy that I had a Bluetooth connection all the time, because don't talk and drive with your mobile. And so I did this all the time. And then we arrived here. I also got so many calls of media, of social media influencers who asked me, there's a big German-Turkish community. Many people are interested also in Germany about the earthquake till today. And so that was what we did, and we had 14 embedded journalists with us. All of them were from Germany or from the Netherlands, and they came with us to report about our work, to report about the earthquake as such. We never ever had such a number of journalists who were with us and who were also interested in this. So I got my mobile invoice one month ago, and I think it was 20 pages of calls I got in during this 1 week we have been here. And but one of the most famous rescue we did probably is the one with Zeynep. And I talked to many Turkish people about it, and some of them, they don't know Zeynep. But when I say it was the rescue of Daniel, who said Zeynep Hanim Korkma, I think everybody from the Turkish, and I see your heads, everybody knows about this. He did a very good job, and also our team did a very good job there. So we saved Zeynep around 100 hours after the quake from the rubble. It took us probably 60 hours to bring her out of the rubble, because we dug a hole and then there was an issue with the elevator. So it was not possible for us to get her out. And the story of Zeynep is a heartbreaking story, because we got her out, And we were talking to her all the time. That's also a very important fact about the communication. You need to communicate, of course, with the German audience. We are an NGO, so it's very important to us to get donations and to get the support in Germany. Also, it's important fact to talk about or to talk with the Turkish community and with the Turkish authorities, and to talk with the victims and with the relatives of the victims. And so we did with Zeynep, and that is something very, very special. One of our doctors was in the hole, and he asked her, "How do you feel? How are you?" And she said, "Oh, I'm okay." And then she responded, "And how are you?" And that was, I get a goosebump when I'm talking about it right now, because it was so strange. There was a woman under the rubble. She is close to the corpse of her family. Both of her children were dead next to her. Her husband was dead next to her. But she was asking, "How do you feel?" And that was a very, very strange part of communication. Also, probably we can take the next photo. You can see the rescue dog, yeah? You can see the hole now.
Can we have it on screen?
Do you see it on screen? The pictures? Okay, thank you, because we can't see it here. Okay, there was a hole we digged, and we talked to her, and we gave her some water, some juice, and then we need the second hole to bring her out. That was very, very uncomfortable, and you know about the temperatures this time, so it was quite cold, not under the rubble, because the energy was kind of closed under the rubble, so they had a heater at night time, and it would have been, yeah, probably 20 degrees there, but outside it was very cold, so you always have to change your clothes when you came out of the hole. And this is one part I want to talk about talking to victims. It's very, very important to talk to them. We always had a translator with us, a very, very brave man, Ahmed. He is head of a logistic company from Gaziantep, and he speaks German. So he was with us under the rubble all the time. He is not used to it, to be honest, yeah? And he survived the earthquake on himself in his flat, and that was great job he also did. But there was another brave woman I want to talk about. Maybe you can show the next picture. Yeah, there's Zeynep. We brought her out. She was so brave. She had so much hope. It was so good for us to stay in contact with her, to talk to her. And the next one, probably, yeah, this is a rescue. I think it's one of the most famous pictures. It was also part of the welcome center of Istanbul airport when Istanbul said thank you to the international people who supported us. And the next one I have, yeah, that's Zubaydah. And I want to introduce Zubaydah, because when we talk about communication to victims, we also have to talk about communications with their relatives. And Zubaydah is her sister. She survived as one just of a few of their family, and she sat in front of the destroyed house of Zeynep all the time. So more than 100 hours she was sitting there in front of the house and waiting that we got Zeynep out. And once it was very complicated, and Zeynep struggled a lot under the rubble, and we asked Zubaydah, okay, is it possible, do you feel comfortable to go under the rubble with us? You got a helmet, you got safety gloves and all that stuff. Do you come with us under the rubble to talk to your sister and to give her hope? And she said, of course, I want to do this. And that was amazing. Because she was there, she talked to her sister just a few words, but it gave her so much hope, so much power for this hard hours to be there under the rubble in this bad, very, very bad situation. And till today, we are in contact with her, with Zubaydah. Even when Zeynep passed away in the night after the earthquake, we are still in contact with Zubaydah, with her family. And I think one of the next photos, yeah, there's one of our rescue dogs as well, and I think the next photo I hope, could you press it again? I hope it is download.
That's the last one?
No, okay, it's the last one, okay. I'm sorry, but this morning I saw a poem on Zubaydah's Facebook page, and she is still really, really affected, really traumatized by this earthquake and by all the things that happened to her and to her family. But what we did as an international rescue team, we gave her hope. And she is so thankful for us, to us, and we are so thankful to her. Because Zubaydah and Zeynep and all the other people in Turkey who are direct and also the ones who are indirect, affected by the earthquake, gave us the opportunity to support them, to do what we like to do, to rescue them and to give them hope. And I think that's one of the most important facts. We, as international teams, give the people hope, and the people who share their hospitality with us, who share their support with us, gave us the knowledge to do the right. And I'm really thankful therefore, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you very much.
Well, Philip, on behalf of Turkish public, I'm really thankful for your actions and trying to give hope to the people that you're trying to save their lives. That's quite important. As you also mentioned, that you're getting gratitude from the people who are also devastating, waiting for their relatives and loved ones to be saved alive. Now, the next speaker is Kim. Kim is from South Korea. He currently serves as an advisor to the National Policy Advisory Committee. He also works as Chief Executive Chairman of 9/11 Search and Rescue. He graduated from the University of Sungkyunkwan in Korea with Bachelor of Art in English Literature and English Literature in Portuguese at the CEUB University in Brazil. Kim worked as a diplomat for about more than 33 years. Well, I would like to start with, when I start with you, Philip, I'm just going to start with almost the same question with Kim. How you first reacted when you heard about the earthquake, and how have you found yourself in the field trying to help saving people under the rubbles, but also based on your experience as a diplomat? We know that there's a protocol in terms of communicating with the victims and with the relatives of the victims. So can you please tell us a little bit about that too?
Yes. Well, herkese merhaba. Kardeşi ülke güney Kore'den gelen Jin Man tanışıt kımıza çok memnun oldum.
Thank you, Kim.
Thank you very much. Good to see you. I'm Jin Man from Korea. Well, just 2 months ago, I was in Hatay to do rescue operation, and now I'm here to talk about that. It's a great honor to be here today to greet you. Well, first of all, I would like to say that Turkey and Korea are the nations of brothers. Historically, it turns out that the Turkey and Korean people have been interacting with each other since 1,500 years ago. Well, it's also blood alliance that fought together in Korean War in 1950. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank you from bottom of my heart. So I greeting in the Turkey language.
Sure.
Anyway, the scene of the earthquake, which I saw with my own eyes and experienced with my whole body, was truly horrific. I really couldn't help but be impressed by the magnitude of the earthquake. It's already been 2 months, but I still feel like I'm at the site of the disaster. And for your reference, my team was one earthquake site in 2011 too. But at that time, I didn't retire from my job, so I couldn't join them, but already past 10 years, yeah? 12 years old before. Well, now it's time to give an answer to the moderator's question. Well, these pictures say that last Friday, just before I came here, I got a seminar with officers from the MOFA and the related organizations, so I didn't have time to re-edit in English or Turkish language. So anyway, I will show you quickly.
Oh, thanks.
The seminar was on the program and improvement in overseas disaster emergency rescue. These photos are part of the material used in that seminar. I edited some and selected necessary scenes from the PPT. So the time when I first became aware of the earthquake of February 6 was, as you see this record, it was 1440 KST, 8 morning, 8:50 local time here. You know, as you see, the earthquake, first earthquake time was at 4:17 in the early morning. But because it was Monday morning, I was very busy preparing for New Week work, so it's a little bit late to check it out. I got the news through the CNN reports. Anyway, as soon as I read this article, I immediately released it to my colleagues' group messenger. The time was 14:41 KST. As you know, the first earthquake occurred at 10:17 in Korean time, 4:17 local time, very early morning. Why all? Sorry, there's not edited here. And we came to Hatay February 11th, and February 23, we came back to my country. I'd better skip these pictures. Yeah, yeah, I give it. Well, anyway, as the chief officer of my team, I always concerned in getting to know world disaster outbreak information as quick as possible. I mainly check Twitter and foreign reporters from time to time. I also frequently monitor several disaster-related sites, such as earthquake alerts. In the event of a disaster, members are notified immediately, and matters regarding dispatch to the disaster site are promptly consulted. Because in the emergency situation, it's very important to respond as quickly as possible. You know, even we try to head to disaster site immediately at that time, but the dispatch is a little late, also due to the difficulty in preparing rescue equipments. Anyway, after decided to the on-site dispatch, I notified the fact to the Turkish embassy in Seoul. And then the embassy expressed this gratitude and gave us a big favor to upgrade the seat from economy class to the business of the Seoul-Istanbul round trip. They also provided much convenience to reduce the transportation cost of rescue equipment. So after arriving in Adana, we headed to Hatay by Jandarma helicopters. And we set up at the base camp in the empty lot next to the Hatay Stadium. And I reported my situation to my embassy in Ankara, too. The search and rescue operation are carried out under the direction of Afet. Sincerely, I would like to express my gratitude to the Turkey embassy staffs, Jandarma, and Afet officers and interpreters who actively assisted us in this operation. As a result, when we faced with emergency disaster information, my team usually acts as below. The first, quick spread the news to members and let them know the event. After that, rechecking the situation of the disaster site. The third, checking equipment and budget. Next, identifying the number of people who can be dispatched. After that, the fifth final meeting, preliminary call-up members. The sixth, find out the book flight schedule. And cooperation with the related organizations such as embassies, like that. After that, finally, we departure to the site. That's all. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Kim. There's a great bond between the two countries. I also personally witnessed that Korean brothers and sisters in the field. But the first thing that I realized when I've seen Korean people in there, there is tears in their eyes. It was really heartfelt. Well, thanks so much again for being here. Our next panelist is Greg. Greg started his professional career in 2009 after being promoted to the rank of lieutenant in the State Fire Service for 8 years, leading fire and rescue operations in Sosnevik. He has 14 years of national and international experience where he served in Sweden, Lebanon, France, and lately Turkey as team leader of USAR Poland. Since 2018, he's been working as an expert at the iHelp Institute, at a non-governmental organization established to carry out scientific research and socially useful activities in the field of civil protection and humanitarian aid for developing countries around the world. Now, Greg, I know you have an extensive experience in especially fire, search and rescue operations. And I'm sure that you face quite a big challenges. Would you mind sharing with us some obstacles that you faced? Also, we know that search and rescue teams, they always try to save lives, but sometimes we fail. You may have some examples that you were unable to find missing persons. So can you tell us a bit about that?
Of course, yes. First of all, let me express my deepest condolences to all people who lost their beloved. We know that this is a suffer that we can't even describe. So coming back to the questions you asked me, from my experience, I can say that we have 3 factors that will impact on the effectiveness and how much we are able to cooperate during the huge disaster like this in Turkey. So first, very important factor is time. We don't have much time. So this is like we have very short time slot, like 4-5 days, when we can help people effectively. Because after that, every single person that we extricate from the debris is a miracle. Because the human body, it's not projected to stay for days without food and without water. So those people trapped in the buildings, they are running out of time. The next thing is logistic capacity. So we are always facing with this once we arrive. We arrive with plane. So we land somewhere, we have tons of equipment. Like we take almost 20 tons of equipment. So we have to bring this equipment somewhere from point A to point B. And it's impossible to take it in your hand and just move and just go. So you depend on the logistic capacities on site. And those logistic capacities, especially after the really huge events like earthquakes, are stretched to the limits. You can't just multiply the number of trucks that will bring the equipment somewhere. You can't just multiply the number of buses. You have some limited resources on that, and that's all. So once we arrived to Turkey, we had to spend several hours at the airport waiting in the queue for transport. So yeah, we use this just like resting, preparing ourselves for really extensive work that finally happened after a few hours. And the last one is effective communication itself. So we need some kind of, right now we are really addicted from internet. Without internet, we are not able to cooperate. On this picture, you can see a dashboard of one of the tools we are using for coordination. And without internet connection, we are not able to coordinate ourselves. We are not able to coordinate the efforts. So it gives us space, a lot of space for duplication. It leads to to create some kind of gaps that some areas are not covered by certain rescue operations, and we don't know that because we don't have internet, and we can't communicate with others, and we don't know what others are doing right now. So that's really thing that it's really matter. And we were trying to use right now a new sorts of technology. So like Starlink terminal, it helps us a lot because I remember like my deployment to Lebanon, it was like 3 years ago. I was using a vegan terminal, like the old one. I was trying to, for 1 hour, I was trying to send one email. And it was almost impossible to send anything. And thinking about coordination, about platform, which is standing on the online base, impossible. So right now we have some new tools that will allow us in future for more advanced coordination. We will know exactly what is going on. We will be able to share information and data we collected, and we will be much, much more effective in our operation. And talking about some kind of failures, because I can say this is a failure of all rescuers, like sometimes we can't save everyone. This is true, this is reality. Like we are chasing with this time, and sometimes people trapped in the rubbles, they will never get this help from us because, I don't know, by some mistake or by, whatever factor is that. Mm-hmm. So we will be not able to find this person, to localize that person, and to extricate that person. You can see, the conditions where we were working. So those buildings were extremely, smashed. It was like a bucket of, built. Like try to imagine you are taking the building, putting into some kind of bag. You are shaking and you're putting out everything on the ground. And you have to so you have to find someone in the pile of everything, like concrete, steel beams, everything. It's really challenging. You can see one of our rescuers crawling into the void, which was created. And it was like 30 centimeters, and still aftershocks, and still everything, it was a huge problem for us. Yeah, we had to dig. And I will show you one picture. Here, this is the dashboard. We prepared, at the first day we arrived, we started to establish our base of operation. We did it like someone just took a pen, a whiteboard, and started to draw, like randomly. We didn't expect to have so many people rescued. So it was like, okay, randomly, we started to one by one to put some names, or some identification of the work sites where we extricate some people. And at the very end, we realized that there is still here, there is one gap. And it was like victim number 13. After victim number 12, we identified 3 work sites where dogs indicated some kind of smell. So it was like, on 2 of them, it was not really, we were not really sure if that's correct, but in the one of those work sites, we even had the contact with, it was like by using geophone, we were able to establish some contact with the victim. It's like, we asked the question, okay, knock 3 times, and it was tick, tick, tick. Okay, now scratch. And it was scratching. So for us, okay, we have you. Now just wait for us, and we will get you. So we just need to identify where in this 3D dimension are you. And after 4 hours, we have lost this communication with this person. We were trying to, for more than 20 hours after that, we were trying to search, trying to localize the position of this person. And I remember my operational guy, he came to me and he told me, Chief, we checked everything, every single corner, every single void. It's nowhere. There is no one alive. So I had to take the decision, okay, the building is almost recollapsed because every single brick you remove, it might create another collapse, and you can trap your rescuers inside. So after more than 30 hours of searching this person, I decided just to stop it. it's a huge emotional burden that you have to take with you, because you know that, okay, there was a chance to rescue someone, but sometimes you have to say stop, because otherwise you will hurt more people. You will hurt your own people as well, and that rescuer is not a rescuer anymore. So that's the problem with search and rescue operations. For us, we have some kind of psychological, mental check after we come back to Poland, after we come back to our country, where psychologists, they analyze what is going on, and they can help you if this burden is too much for you. And that's the only reason that we can keep our mental health okay. So, yeah, that's the story. And I would like to thank you, Sadat. He's sitting right now with us. He was the person who stopped us in Besni, and without him, we would just miss this place. We were on our way to Adıyaman, and he was one of the people who came to us and asked us just to stay. And for me, it was one of the most difficult decisions in my life, where to go, to stay in Besni, the city of 70,000 people, or to go to Adıyaman, 1 million people, who I supposed to rescue right now, if those people deserve to be rescued or not. So we decided finally to stay in Besni, because we were the only one for 2 days as a professional rescue team. And we are really happy that I made this decision. So thank you once again. That's all from my side. Thanks.
Well, it's not surprising that we call you guys heroes. You put your life at risk. You're trying to save someone, but at the same time, your own life is really at a high risk. So I really, really appreciate your time and your effort. Well, now the next panelist is Alesker Aliyev. He is the Deputy Director of the Main Operations, as well as leading Azerbaijan International Search and Rescue Team. He completed his bachelor's degree in civil defense at High Military School in Azerbaijan. He's been at some international search and rescue missions, including Ukraine and Mughla, and the most recent one of Kahramanlar earthquake in Turkey. Alesker has a national nomination medal for his service. As well, he is a steering committee member of PPRD East. So welcome, Alesker. Well, I would like to ask couple of questions where Greg left at. I was always wondering, when you try to save lives, there is a mental situation that you've been going through. So how do you really keep your mental status as healthy as possible? And what is the biggest challenge that you already face when you try to save lives and you spend so much effort under the rubbles?
Thank you, Mr. Ibrahim. Good morning, dear ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, merhaba. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to this important event. It is a great opportunity for exchange of experience and to learn from each other. First, I would like to briefly inform you about the Azerbaijan Search and Rescue Team activities during the humanitarian operations in Kahramanlar. Remembering the recent earthquake, I pray to God for mercy towards those who perished as a result of these disasters. As we observed during the recent earthquake, dozens of search and rescue teams, as well as medical brigades, joined in and were coordinated well during the humanitarian operations. We observed that the strategic communication and joint efforts gave an invaluable results to save more lives. As we received information about earthquake centered in Kahramanlar, according to the instruction Mr. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, search and rescue teams as well as medical brigades of the Ministry of Emergency Situations were mobilized and sent to the disaster area immediately. For your information, humanitarian teams consisting of 760 personnel were sent to the Turkey for humanitarian relief efforts. The Azerbaijani rescue teams worked in areas of Kahramanmaraş and Hatay. In addition to delivering humanitarian aid, the rescuers saved 53 people from the rubble. 17 of the rescued were children. Azerbaijani medical teams activated 2 field hospitals and provided medical assistance to more than 3,000 people in Kahramanmaraş city. You can see the video presentation on the screen related to our activities during humanitarian mission in Kahramanmaraş. During humanitarian operations, we organized interaction with Afet, as well as urban search and coordination cell of the UN, as well as search and rescue teams from different countries. Turning back to your question, I want to mention that in a disaster zone, rescuers and volunteers may face different risks and difficulties like anti-sanitary, contamination of drinkable water, earthquake, aftershocks, and etc. These facts directly impact not only humanitarian operations, search and rescue operations, as well as health risks, health of the rescuers and volunteers. It is important to underline that we provide a quick assessment in the area before sending our rescuers for the search and rescue operations. And we conduct sufficient measures to minimize the risks or prevent them. Medical group of search and rescue team take care about rescuers' health and conduct relevant procedures to prevent spread of any disease during humanitarian mission. To protect our rescuers' health in disaster zone, we fulfill several beforehand procedures. One of them is an obligatory vaccination like tetanus vaccination, yellow fever, and etc. We plan to and conduct relevant courses and trainings according to the annual program in order to prepare search and rescue teams for humanitarian missions. Sometimes inattentive behavior may cause risks to the rescuer health. I can share with you one story from my experience that happened during humanitarian operations several years ago. One of the rescuers bought an energy drink from the shop, and when he opened the bottle, he realized that it is not energy drink, it was vinegar. That is one of the examples when our rescuer was attentive and prevented further risk to his own health. This is the reason why we instruct our rescuers and volunteers to follow instructions of their managers and to be always attentive, even the smallest things. It is also very important to provide psychological support, as you said, to rescuers when it is needed. For instance, during earthquakes centered in Kahramanmaraş, psychological group of the ministry was also involved in humanitarian operations. They have provided psychological support not only to the disaster victims but also to our rescuers. Talking about volunteers, I think untrained volunteers not to be involved in rescue operations. In the rescue area, they may be involved in provisional activities, in my opinion, and activities like food distribution and tent camp building. During the mission in Kahramanmaraş, countless phone calls we got from Azerbaijan with offers to join voluntarily to our rescuers. And more than 200 volunteers from Azerbaijan joined humanitarian operations in Kahramanmaraş. In my opinion, Turkey's experience in field of preparation of volunteers for search and rescue operation would be beneficial for every one of us. Talking about the challenges, I'd like to mention that the biggest challenge was aftershocks which we faced in recent earthquake in Kahramanlar, it was a big challenge to conduct continuous search and rescue operations despite difficulties due to aftershocks, as it is our main task to rescue victims in any dangerous condition. However, our rescuers are professionals and follow all the instructions related to security procedures, as aftershocks create more risks to rescuers during the mission. We interacted with the local population, both during search and rescue operations and as well as during the delivery of humanitarian aid. I remember it was not so easy to communicate with the population in disaster area, as their first needs were increasing in initial hours. When humanitarian aid had been distributed in Kahramanmaraş area, the residents of the one houses asked for help in extracting the body of a deceased person from under the rubble. In such situations, it is important to quickly respond to requests because people expect such behavior from us. We went with them to the specified address, assessed the situation, and reported to the coordination center. Sufficient aid was provided immediately. Being there with them and sharing their pain helps to stabilize the psychological situation of the victims. The other challenge we face are difficulties during the interviews to the media representatives. Representatives of the media may ask you any questions during an interview, as it is their job, but our answers should be objective and impartial. It is also important to be independent in this matter, and you should consider the audience that will be listening to you to avoid any unpleasant situations. It is also should be noted that during interviews, it is not only the information provided to the audience by your side, but also who the speaker is. More trainings, media trainings are also a part of our program for search and rescue team. Let me introduce one of the questions that was asked me during interview. The TV journalist asked me which country's team performed better during the humanitarian operations, your team or other teams. Such questions create more difficulties during the live broadcasting. Of course, I answered these questions in a way that nobody would be offended. In my response, I mentioned that the disaster zone is not a racetrack, and I believe that every team did their best here. Teams joined their efforts to quickly rescue dozens of people from under the rubble. In a disaster zone, everyone tries to help and consider it as a duty to humanity. This feeling is given to us by God. Thank you very much for your attention. Sonda depremden dolayı hayatını kaybeden kardeşlerimize Allah'tan rahmet dileyirəm. İki dövlət, bir millət olaraq hepimizin başımız sağ olsun. Allah bir daha acı yaşatmasın. Hamınıza iyi günler dilerim. Çok sağ olun.
Alesker, thank you so much. As you mentioned, two countries, one nation. So welcome. And I also would like to underline your response that the disaster zone, disaster areas are not racetrack. Everyone is doing the same job over there. I also, in your video, there's a scene that when you saved a person, you were cheering up. So I think it gives a common psychological understanding that there's a humanity there. So we all are feeling the same way. I'm hoping that we can all keep the same feelings for the future as well. So thank you so much again. Now the last speaker is Juan Manuel Gómez Rama. Juan is in charge of communication of the Spanish USAR rescue team Bomberos Girakan. Although his professional career is a nurse in the public health service, he has always been in the emergencies and corporate communication, including social media, and John was one of the rescue team members in the affected areas. Well, Juan, there's something I always wonder about search and rescue teams, especially for the ones who are not local, you come from abroad. How did you first react when you heard the news? What did you feel? And how you really made yourself ready to move to the area? And there was one question I already asked one of the panelists about enabling to save lives. So there was a sad stories. But now let's just go on a positive response in your experience. So how did you feel? How did you react when you saved lives? What happened? Similar to Alesker's example in the scene. So can you tell us more about that?
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. First of all, I want to express my gratitude to be here, invited to this disaster communication forum. So, we in the beginning of our rescue team, we have it very clear that we need to be to work with communication, public communication. It is a useful tool to not only to spread our job, you know, to make a clear and honest communication with the people in emergency times. So the first reaction when I take knowledge about the big hardware is we have in front of us a big job. So it's what a big chance for us. So, but let me explain, if you want, through my presentation, all the question about that. I will explain you many histories about with a powerful feeling about that. Let's go. Sorry. The back. No, how come back? Ah. Okay. In our team, we have clear if the communication is a change for us because when we think we must to be in internet, we must to be in social media. So if we don't tell, someone else will do it for us. This is very, very, very important for us. So we have a web, we have a Twitter account, an Instagram account, a YouTube channel, and a Facebook account. We're present over there. So this is basically our strategy about communication. We had as a news agency, okay? We are the official information on the ground for our team. All our contents are free to distribute. No problem about that. You are free to distribute. We publish frequently, more of time in real time. Sorry, but no media were attending in our mission here in Turkey. It's because time is gold, and our goal is for you, because you are in need. So, but when we finish our mission, we promptly serve all media that request us, okay? Well, from 2010, we work about this. The communication is a powerful tool. So, about training, and more training. We have a book, I say the red book, about communication protocols. So, our communication strategy is one more task. Not only consider save lives. Communication is another task in rescue teams. Okay? We don't know it provides. We have a prior training and adapt and improve the protocols. Our aim is to lead information and offer it openly to the media through our social works, as we saw. Media are great allies, but we have to distinguish between what they want and the public utility that our information can have. From here to here is a long way. Well, we are user lighting, it's urban and rescue light team. Okay, we are a team of 15 people and 2 dogs. But only one of us, just me, is responsible about communication. I have many tasks in our mission. For example, we have to communicate with United Nations platform to communicate all our tasks about the virtual host OSOC, the ISMS platform, and share all our jobs in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and WhatsApp to inform our family. Okay. This is an important goal about our strategy of communication. We have to be faithful to the reality. We preferably use the local language to communicate without alarming or generating fear. That's very important. We must be honest. That's some examples about that. So, I'd like to share with you some emotional history. This is a very good example of the power of one emotion. This was a tweet what we launched the first day. So, a man stopped us in the middle of the highway when we go to Gaziantep area. So he comes inside the bus, open a red bag, and send us this food for us. It was shocking for us. What happened here? Maybe, perhaps, that man lost the house, your job, I don't know what. But it's a very nice example, the powerful. And this was an unexpected task for us, the hope. We shared more than 10 million people, so that it's very big impact, international impact. We literally stopped us. This was our tweet. In a few hours, many people shared this tweet around the world. So, and this is a message received on Instagram ago about the hope. And this, just at that time, we were very emotional because how you can read here, when I was feeling hopeless and helpless, reading your warm and empathetic tweets on your Twitter account made me both emotional and hopeful. That's really a big thing for us. Fantastic. Now, we have the link with the people of Turkey was to, sorry, it's very emotional for me. They are 2 translators. They gave with us in all the mission, Mr. Babus and Mr. Beytula. Babus is a medicine student, and Beytula is a journalist student. They became one of us. All the mission with us. They were the bridge between the population and us. So this is some code of conduct of our team. Rescuing people is something more. We have to be there for people in need. We have to be empathetic. We have to inform with the truth. We accompany to them, care for them. A history of hope. In this area, we send we offer our capabilities. In this case, they need our dogs because they were searching people under the rubble. So our dogs find a site with the probability to be alive under the rubble. So, but we have to go to another place because request for us. Now, many hours later, we have a very, very good news for us. It's because they told us, hey, people, hey, Spanish, we sent 2 live persons over there, two women. In that moment, we start crying, all our team. It's a very, very nice history. So, at the end of my presentation, I want to share with you a little video, about 4 minutes. Is possible, please, switch off the lights? Okay, thank you very much. And the sound is... Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Teşekkürler Türkiye. You have given us more than we take with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Juan. Thanks so much for the video as well. Well, we had very unique opportunity to hear from some of the most experienced and passionate search and rescue professionals as we delve into the emotional and physical demands of critical search and rescue missions. Now, Philip, Kim, Greg, Alesker, and Juan, I personally would like to thank you for your efforts. You are, as the panel already pointed out, that you are the heroes of our hearts, and you are the heroes to this world. Thank you so much.
Biz de Sayın Özer özelinde, nezdinde tüm konuklarımıza teşekkür ediyoruz. Kocaman bir alkış alabilir miyiz? Hem kendileri adına hem milletleri adına çok sağ olunuz. Sizi saygıyla yerlerinize uğurluyoruz. Çok teşekkürler. Andrea?
Thank you so much. You really are the reason we're here, to celebrate the triumphs of this disaster recovery, so unprecedented, but so beautiful to see how people respond with the hearts that you have. So thank you. Teşekkürler.
Şimdi şunu özellikle sevgili tercüman arkadaşlarımın iyi çevirmesini rica edeceğim. Hangi millete, hangi dine, hangi topluluğa mensup olursak olalım, İnsanoğlu vicdanıyla, merhametiyle, yaratılıştan gelen fıtratıyla bir ortak değere sahip. O da insanlık, duyguyu yansıtma. 6 Şubat Kahramanmaraş depremleri bize aslında tamamen şunu gösterdi. Tüm dünya burada ortak bir paydada buluştu. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz onun için. Kocaman bir alkış daha rica ederim.